Now I love horror games a lot, but out of all of them throughout my life, none of them has ever scared me and left a mark like Silent Hill 1 did. Now I can't quite put my finger on why this one stands out the most to me, be it down to nostalgia alone, or its creepy PS1 visuals combined with its soundtrack. Either way, the devs of this game really caught lightning in a bottle. Even though Konami just wanted a Resident Evil of their own, they got a hell of a lot more from Team Silent. I know most people prefer the second game in the series, and to be fair, it is an amazing game in itself, and I'll admit I do love it just as much, but I always felt the first game just had more scare factor to it. Out of all the Silent Hill games, it's the only one, to me at least, where your goal of the game feels urgent, as you're trying to find your young daughter, lost in this nightmarish world, become reality. Whereas 2, you're looking for a dead wife, 3, you're getting revenge for your dead father, and 4, you're escaping your apartment. None of them had the same urgency as looking for a vulnerable lost child in such a dangerous environment. I was only quite young first time playing this game, being only around 10 or 11. And I remember being so scared that first time that I used to get a friend over from school to read the guide walkthrough to me whilst I was playing. Just so that I didn't have to hang around too long, just to know what to do and where I was going to go next. Now you might say that ruins the game, but as a kid I was so scared at the time I couldn't focus on what I was supposed to do either way. It didn't last long before they got bored, and I can't blame them to be honest. If it wasn't for one of them anyway, I would have never got past the first dream sequence at the start of the game. When I first played it solo, I would always get attacked running around desperate for the exit, until my fear got the best of me and I turned the console off. I then let my friend have a go, which resulted in him not caring as much at being killed. After that moment, I was shocked to find the game continued, and then I knew the game wasn't playing by any conventional video game rules. I never had to die in a video game to progress. Before in Resident Evil it was always just survive, but not here. Silent Hill seemed to be different, designed to keep you confused and to make you feel uneasy most of the time. As a kid I would hate it when it would get dark and the flashlight came on, and then that damn radio static could kick in soon after. Guaranteed it filled me with dread every time that happened. After the school section was first over, the relief I felt like it became daylight again was so strong and satisfying. I was still in the school, but I just didn't feel as afraid or stressed anymore. But then, after a brief visit to the church, you get to go to the hospital and have a very limited search around. At this point, it's still daylight, until you go in the damn lift a few times and see the magic extra floor appear. And then it all starts again. It felt like the game was torturing me as a kid. Even though you can't see what's ahead clearly, because of the fog during daytime, at least everything was illuminated around me, and outside you had lots of space to get around anything that came at you. Whereas inside the buildings you were closed in with the monsters, and the darkness made things way more claustrophobic. I always found the puzzles and some of the items you need to solve them to be strange. It sometimes baffled my younger self first time round. The notes and clues you find to help solve them can be vague in my opinion, but it does all add to the creepy charm factor overall. I was always amazed as well at the size of the town you got to explore. Or at least I should say how big the devs made it feel, especially for the time. I mean, before this, it was just Resident Evil for me, which felt a hell of a lot more linear in comparison. This full 3D world they created made me feel more uneasy, I think, because there was so much more open space I could get attacked from. With the fog and lack of vision due to it being dark at night, it really added to the anxiety feeling. I mean, all you have is that radio noise going off, telling you how close you are to the creatures, just to give you some idea where the danger lurks. This game feels really big for a PS1 game, and I love how they got around technical limitations of the console by using the fog idea. Same for the destroyed roads to keep you confined within the outside maps. It feels so natural to the game's theme and plot that this would be in there. I also really love the soundtrack to this game. Just like the rest of the series, the composer Akira Yamaoka just knows how to tap into your emotions and play with them, making you feel a mix of feelings. It's hands down one of the best soundtracks on the PS1 in my opinion, and it only got better from there on. This game has multiple endings too, which is fantastic as they're little side areas and items you can easily miss, which can result in getting a certain ending. For example, missing the red liquid in the hospital, which you'll need to save Sybil in the boss fight later on, or searching Dr. Kaufman's apartment after you've saved his life. All these things are completely optional. Now this game does use tank controls, like the Resident Evil games did before, but with Silent Hill they always gave you a little more control over the camera, using the L2 button to see what was directly in front of the player. Heck, if you beat the game and play again from the start in the options menu, you can change the L2 camera feature so instead of seeing what's in front of the character on screen, it snaps directly over his head to give you this first person view almost. Back in them PS1 to PS2 days, Konami was on fire, giving us games like this, Metal Gear Solid and Castlevania. They really fallen from grace. I mean, Team Silent made 3 iconic horror games, and the 4th only having half the team was a great addition too, even if it did feel like a bit of a spin-off. Yet, as Konami does best nowadays, they took a golden goose of a dev team and threw them away. In my opinion, like Silent Hill 2, this is a game most people should experience at least once for themselves, especially if you can appreciate older titles. I know it's not a perfect game all round, but for what it did at the time, and even how it stands now, I think it's still a very unique game in itself. I can't say all will enjoy this game, and some may find it a bit dated nowadays, especially being a PS1 game, but in my opinion I'd say it holds up. Sure, the voice acting is a little off, and the characters don't emote as much as Resident Evil characters do when talking, but I think it just adds to the charm and theme of the game, and also makes it a little bit more creepy too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little ramble about this game. I really do love it a lot, and the series as a whole, well, the ones Team Silent made anyway. I could have gone in depth with the review, but many have done so already, and have done a great job at it too. I just wanted to throw some love its way mainly. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, go and give this game a try, especially if you're into the horror genre like myself. Thanks again, and happy Halloween. See you later.